troops out in force in Xiahe, the second Chinese city hit by protests over the past few days. Here, scenes of destruction. They were waving Tibetan flags, says this Chinese shop owner. They were shouting independence for Tibet. Xiahe in Gansu province is home to a large number of Tibetans. The protests there follow the deadly riot in the Tibetan capital Lhasa. This video, released by the official Chinese media, shows protesters setting fire to cars and storefronts. Days after the riot, The Economist correspondent James Miles describes the scene in Lhasa.
And of course, over much of the city now, an intense security clampdown with troops with machine guns, with bayonets, standing on the streets and checking the identity papers of passers-by.
Chinese officials say 16 people were killed in the Friday riot, but the Tibetan government in exile says at least 80 people were killed. Chinese authorities have blamed the violence on Tibet's exiled spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama has denied inspiring the protests and has accused the Chinese of what he calls cultural genocide. Tibet's governor, speaking to reporters in Beijing, defended China's response to the largest anti-government protests in almost 2 decades.
They described our handling of the violence that harms people's lives, security and social order as a crackdown on peaceful protests. It's groundless. No democratic country in the world will tolerate this kind of crime.
He claims the unrest was intended to destabilize Tibet on the eve of the Olympics. The turmoil in Tibet poses a public relations nightmare for Beijing as it prepares to host the Olympic Games in August. It had hoped to project a happy and harmonious image, but the world is seeing a very different view. Jaime Flores, CNN, Beijing.